What if I told you that everything you've been doing on leg day is actually working against you? That the longer you spend in the gym grinding your legs into dust, the less muscle you're actually building. Stay with me because in this video, I'm going to show you the exact 4 movements that cover your entire lower body. Quads, hamstrings, glutes, stability, all of it, in less time with better results. No filler, no fluff. Just a smarter way to train legs that most guys never figure out until it's too late. And if you skip this, you'll keep spinning your wheels wondering why your legs aren't growing despite all the effort you're putting in. Quick favor before we get into it. If you're fed up with wasting time in the gym and you want training advice that actually delivers, hit subscribe. All right, let's get into it. Movement 1, the hinge pattern. We're starting with the hinge. Romanian deadlift, conventional deadlift, stiff leg deadlift. Pick the one you can execute well, but a hinge pattern is non-negotiable in your program. This is where most leg training completely falls apart. Guys will train the front side hard, sure, then treat the hinge like an optional add-on. That's a massive mistake. The hinge is the most underrated lower body builder in existence. It loads what most other patterns miss: hamstrings, glutes, lower back, the entire posterior chain. It's what adds real thickness to your legs, power to your hips, and functional strength to your back. Skip it, and your development will always be incomplete. Here's the simple breakdown. Squat equals knees forward, more upright torso, quads taking most of the load. Hinge equals hips driving back, torso leans, hamstrings and glutes become the engine. Different pattern, different stimulus, both necessary. For most people, RDLs are the move because they maintain constant tension and emphasize the eccentric stretch. Lower the bar under control, feel the hamstrings lengthen, then drive the hips forward to stand. That stretch under load is one of the biggest growth triggers you have access to. But this lift gets butchered constantly. People turn it into a squat. Too much knee bend, hips never travel back, and now it's some weird hybrid that doesn't fully train anything. Fix it with one cue. Push your hips back like you're reaching for a wall behind you. Soft knees, not a squat. Feel the hamstrings load before you even think about standing. That's the hinge. Classic mistake number 2, rounding the lower back. Your spine stays neutral the entire rep. If you can't get the bar low without rounding, shorten the range. Use blocks. Work on mobility over time. Never trade spinal position for depth. And here's the big one. The hinge teaches you how to actually use your glutes. A lot of guys are completely quad dominant because they've only ever trained knee dominant patterns. Their glutes barely contribute, and then they wonder why their posterior is weak and their lower back always hurts. When you lock out the RDL, your glutes should squeeze hard. If you don't feel that, you're not finishing the rep. Hinging also builds everything else: core stability, bracing, grip strength, full body force production. If your squat is stalling, a weak posterior chain is usually the missing piece. Build your hinge, and your squat tends to climb with it. Don't skip it. Don't half rep it. Learn it, load it, progress it. Movement 2, the squat pattern, the foundation. Second movement is a squat pattern. Front squat, goblet squat, back squat. Pick your variation, but you need a squat in your program. No debate. A well-trained squat is the cornerstone of lower body development because it does something almost nothing else can do in a single movement. It loads your quads, glutes, core, and stabilizers together under serious tension. When you squat heavy, you're not just training legs, you're teaching your entire body to stay rigid under load, to brace, to control position, and to produce force through a full range of motion. That's why squats build muscle and strength faster than most machine movements ever will. Yeah, the leg press lets you stack plates and feel impressive, but the leg press is doing a significant chunk of the work for you. Fixed path, supported torso, minimal demand on balance and bracing. The squat doesn't hand you that shortcut. The squat makes your entire system earn it.
Here's where most people go wrong. They think squat heavy is the entire instruction set. It's not. Depth and tempo are just as important as the load on the bar. If your squat looks like a nervous little knee bend because you refuse to drop the weight, you're leaving muscle on the table. Growth lives in the full range, the controlled descent, the stretch at the bottom, the muscles working hardest where it counts. And tempo, if you're crashing down and bouncing back up like a trampoline, you're not training muscle, you're training momentum. Control the lowering phase, own the bottom, drive up with purpose. Time under tension is what separates a productive rep from a wasted one. You don't need a massive squat to build impressive legs. You need a squat that's deep, controlled, and repeatable. And the common form killers, knees caving inwards, heels rising off the floor, lower back rounding at depth, these aren't minor technique complaints. They're efficiency leaks that slow your progress and wear out your joints. Fix the movement pattern first, then load it. That's how you build legs that actually grow. Movement 3, the unilateral work. Step-ups, reverse lunges, Bulgarian split squats. Pick one and make it a staple. Most programs have a gaping hole here. Guys train with both feet planted all the time, so imbalances stay hidden. Your stronger leg quietly takes over every bilateral set. You may not feel it happening, but it is. One side pushes harder, stabilizes better, and over months, the gap widens. Eventually, you end up with one quad noticeably bigger, one glute that actually fires, one knee that doesn't feel right, and suddenly you're plateaued or hurt and genuinely confused about why. Unilateral training exposes the truth and corrects it. Step-ups are underrated and brutally effective. All the load goes onto the working leg. No hiding, no compensation. The quads and glutes get targeted, and the stabilizers around the knee, hip, ankle, and foot finally have to do their job. The stability demand is the secret. Bilateral lifts let your body work around weaknesses. Single leg work forces you to fight for position. Core braces harder, glutes fire to prevent rotation. The ankle stabilizes under load. It's strength and coordination happening simultaneously. Unilateral work humbles everyone. You might squat impressive weight, but hand someone 2 moderate dumbbells and put them into a split squat or step up, and they're suffering by rep 8. That's not weakness. That's finally challenging each side on its own terms. The carryover is massive too. Athletic performance, directional changes, joint health, injury prevention. Real life is fundamentally single leg. Stairs, sprinting, changing direction, even walking. Your body is constantly shifting from leg to leg. Training it under load builds resilience. Choose based on your goals. Bulgarian split squats offer heavy quad and glute stimulus. Brutal. Reverse lunges are more controlled and often easier on the knees. Step-ups are excellent for glutes and single-leg power. Common mistakes: knee collapsing inward, excessive forward lean, rushing through reps to escape the discomfort. Slow down. Knee tracks over the toes, torso stays solid. Tension stays in the working leg, not the lower back. Yes, it's uncomfortable. That's the point. Stay consistent and the imbalances disappear. Movement 4, the strategic finisher, customizable to your weak point. The 4th slot is flexible. This is where you customize based on what your legs actually need. The first 3 movements already cover the essentials. This final one targets weak points, aesthetics, or a specific goal. But it's not a grab whatever machine is open choice. It's a deliberate decision. If your calves are lagging, this is where calf raises go, standing or seated. Squats and deadlifts do not accidentally build impressive calves. Calves need intentional training through a full range. Big stretch at the bottom, hard contraction at the top, controlled reps. Want calves? Train calves.
If glutes are the weak link or you want that shape and pop, use hip thrusts. They're among the best glute builders available because they load hip extension heavily in the shortened position where glutes produce maximum force. Squats and hinges hit glutes, yes, but hip thrusts let you overload them in a way those patterns simply can't match. Carryover to deadlift lockout and sprinting power is significant. If your goal is strength or extra quad emphasis, run a second squat variation here. Front squats force an upright torso and target quads specifically. Hack squats are one of the few machine movements worth respecting because they let you load quads heavily without destroying your lower back and stabilizers in the process. The key is knowing exactly what problem you're solving. Beginners might not even need a fourth movement at all. Master the first three and grow. Intermediate and advanced lifters, this is where you fill the specific gap. What you don't do is waste this slot on redundancy. If you're already squatting well, you almost certainly don't need to also leg press just to feel like you did enough. If you're hinging hard, you don't need to chase a leg curl pump on top of it. The entire purpose of this setup is efficiency. Every exercise must add something genuinely new. You can also rotate this slot between training blocks. Run hip thrusts for 6 to 8 weeks, then switch to calf work. Try front squats. If they beat you up, move to hack squats. Keeps training fresh without turning your program into chaos. How to actually program this? Now you have the movements, here's how to run them. Frequency, train lower body 2 to 3 times per week. That's enough stimulus without destroying recovery. Train twice, run all 4 movements each session, adjusting sets and intensity. Train 3 times, split them. Squat plus unilateral one day, hinge plus finisher another, rotating emphasis based on how recovered you are. For hypertrophy, aim for 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps per movement. Rest around 2 minutes, enough to push hard without turning the session into a nap. For strength, 4 to 6 reps, heavier loads, longer rest. And the rule that makes all of it work, progressive overload. Add weight when you can, add reps when the weight stalls. Track it. If you're hitting identical loads for identical reps week after week, you're maintaining, not building. Small jumps count. 5 extra pounds, 1 extra rep, cleaner form at the same weight. Over months, those small wins stack into serious legs.
You don't need elaborate periodization. You don't need a 20-step leg day checklist. You need consistency on 4 patterns, steady progression, and enough recovery to repeat the performance. Lock that in, and your legs have no choice but to grow. If you want more programs built like this, 4 movements, 0 filler, real progress, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll keep them coming. Hit like if this helped, and drop a comment with what you want broken down next. See you in the next one.